everybody. I'm just trying to work out the camera. Sorry. It's it might be a bit better. Yeah. Stand up. Can you see me? No. Let me see. Yeah. That'll do. Okay, just going to move that and then I'll move this back a little bit. Trying it a different way today because whenever I do it over the other side of, what we call the living kitchen, the light shines through the skylights and it looks like I can never see anything or that you guys can never see anything either. So, okay. Right. So today's session is some yin yoga. So we're going to be in some of the poses for a long time. So if you need to support yourself, then make sure that you have got your blocks and your cushions and blankets and stuff available to support yourself in the. I mean, when I say long time, it's the least is 1 minute and the longest is 5, but that's only for one pose. Generally, they're about 2 or 3 minutes, the poses, and then we'll go into Shavasana. Right, so bring yourself standing, middle of your mat, nice and tall, going into Tadasana. Just going to bring ourselves to the mat. Okay. Close your eyes. Just breathe nice and gently. Drop the shoulders down. Keep your eyes closed just for another few minutes. Okay, on your next in-breath, just inhale your arms up and then bring them down in front of you, kind of in a prayer pose. Take 2 really deep, steadying breaths. And then on your next exhale, we're just going to drop the arms down by our side again. And we're going to come into a toe squat. So we drop down onto our knees, and our toes are going to be behind us, but tucked under like this. And we're going to be here. Now, this might be too much, so you can either have your toes out or just come into a seated position. Going to be here for a few minutes, so you need to be comfortable. Now, this does put a stretch through the toes and all the way along the ankle and into the calf. And we want to keep our back nice and tall. Drop the shoulders down. Just want to work on that breathing. So you just keep focusing on that breathing. I'm just going to show you some adaptations in case you have got your toes curled up but it's painful. So if you get a towel or cushion, curl your toes and then sit. And if you see, my toes are still curled under, but it takes some of that pressure off. So that's one way that you can do it. You can also pop it behind the knees. That keeps you up straighter. And again, take some of that pressure off of those toes. Just hold yourself in that position. You're okay. You're just here. Just going to focus on the breath. Now you can keep your eyes open or you can close them if you wish. I'm actually going to have to undo my toes for a minute. It's hurting my Achilles. I've not had a problem with that for ages, so I don't want to kick it off. When you're breathing, try and do your breath for the same length of time in and then the same length of time out. So we're really working with the breath. Okay, so if you're here, toes are tucked, we're sat here. We're going to go into melted heart. So I'm going to turn that round. If your toes are still tucked, just untuck your toes and lift yourself up. You might need to move back down your mat a little bit. We're going to inhale and bring our arms up to the side. And when we exhale, we're just going to drop over at the waist, keeping the buttocks and the tailbone up. Stretch those arms out. And then just drop your shoulders, so you're dropping down. I'll show you this way. You've gone. And come over. Arms all the way out. Knees and hips are stacked. And then we've dropped our chest down. Arms on the floor if you can. Now if you can get your forehead on the floor, that's really good. If you can get your forehead down there. But if this is too much, just kind of stay as far as you can. Just be in this position. You could even come down here with your elbows bent, bring your arms in a little bit and just lean down. That might help as well. Or even you could get, a block or a blanket, whatever you've got to hand, and just lean on that, just so that you're not as far down as if you're all the way stretched. So we're really pushing the shoulder blades together in this position, but we're trying to get the shoulders to drop away from the ears. I'm just going to move back a bit because I'm hitting my unit. Focus on your breathing. We're going to be here for about 30 seconds more. Okay, lift up the shoulders and just lean forward slightly. We're coming into a very extended kind of cobra. And that's just to take the pressure off those shoulders. Just 10-15 seconds, and then we're going to go into our next pose. So keeping the arms where they are. Lift your tail up again. Drop your chest down. And this time, take your right arm, inhale out to the side, and swing it under. You're trying to get your right shoulder onto the floor, and your arm extended out in front of you. I'm just going to move back a bit so you can see that, and then I can show you some adaptations. Okay, so you should be with your tail up, your hips stacked, and you're down here. Now, if this is too much, then you might be up here, or you might have your arm bent a little bit, and you just kind of thread it through that way. So it's like this. So this is actually called a melting heart variation, but a lot of people call it threading the needle. So you can do thread the needle with either your arms or your legs. You might even need a bolster underneath your arm to help. But we're going for a twist. So we're trying to twist at the hip. So as you breathe in, try and rotate the left shoulder a little bit. And as you breathe out, try and rotate the left shoulder as you breathe in, and try and drop the right shoulder as you breathe out. And then just find your spot, and then stay there. Now we're going to breathe in and bring the right arm back through. Bring it out to the front. Back into a cobra. Arm stretched cobra. Back up onto all fours. We're going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to turn around here. So we're going to inhale, bring that left arm up, and exhale and come through. So inhale up, and then exhale through, drop down, stretch that arm out. Now remember your adaptations if you need it. Remember that we're twisting from the waist. And as you twist from the waist, you should feel an expansion in the chest. That's because the chest will naturally follow. We're getting all these oblique muscles and our intercostal muscles as well. Focus on that breathing. Not going to be here for too much longer. Okay, breathing in, we're going to bring this arm back through. And out to meet with the right, and I'm just going to drop down. Oh. It's that big cobra again. You know, I should have just put my mat this way, really, shouldn't I? Okay, so come back up onto all fours. Bring your hands in. Bring your knees out wider than your hips. Bring your toes so they're coming together just a little bit. I'm just going to do this up. They don't have to be touching, but if they are, that's fine. And we're going to go into child's pose, and we're going to hold it for about 5 minutes, but that's why it's a wide knee one. So again, with this, you might need a block, you might need a blanket, you might want something behind your legs if you can't get your buttocks all the way down. So from here, just going to lower the buttocks down so that we're sat over our heels. We're going to bring our arms down, our chest down. Now you can either keep your arms here or you can put them at your side. But the purpose is to not be on our head, it's to be on our forehead and nose so that our chest is dropping down. So that's why I'm saying you might need something to give you a bit of a lift so that wherever you are, you've got that support. You might even need, like a blanket behind each leg so that you're leaning on it. And you might need to turn your feet slightly the other way, because all depending on, exactly in your legs where your nerves and stuff run. You might get a really weird sensation. But whilst we're here, we're just going to work on the breathing again. But this time, we're going to breathe in for 4, then you're going to hold it for 2, and then you're going to breathe out for 5. So it's holding it for 2, and then breathing out for 5. But let that breath sigh out. So again, breathe in for 4, holding it for 2, and then breathing it out for 5. Keep going. Now, as you're breathing out and you're sighing out that breath, I want you to try and push your buttocks closer to your heels, but only as you're breathing out, and try and drop the shoulders, so you're bringing the shoulder blades together even more. And again, it's only on the exhale that we're doing this, not doing it on the inhale. Once you've found your limit, once you've stretched and pushed till you can't stretch or push anymore, then just hold it there and continue with your breathing. Remember, it shouldn't be sore. You should just feel a nice stretch. If it's really painful or pinching, then just come out of the stretch and just go back into a normal resting child's pose, which is knees kind of closer together and arms by your side. Okay, that last minute here. Okay, on your in-breath, slowly come up. Just watching the back, watching those shoulders, because we've been in that position for a while now. Come up onto all fours. Nice and gently. Bring your knees in a bit. Just going to take a cat. We're going to lift the back up. Round in. Really push up through those shoulders. We're trying to stretch out where we've just stretched. You can even tuck your toes under if you really need to, if you need to stretch out those feet. Relax the shoulders. You're going to come down into a shoelace. I'm going to turn around on my mat. So if you just kind of take a seat, bring your left leg round and your right leg over the top. Now you may need to lift up. What we're aiming to do is to stack those knees. We try and get the knees in line, and then we're sitting back down on the floor. Now if you can't get into your legs into this position and then sit back down, that's okay. Go as far as you can. And I'll keep using a blanket, but it's because I've got here. And most people, if they can't do it, they struggle to get down onto the floor. So get your legs into whichever position is, you can get them into comfortably. And then put the blanket or the block, pillows, whatever you've got, bolster, underneath the buttocks, and that will keep you upright. You won't get such a severe stretch through your thighs. So we're kind of contracting where we were just, opening up. Bringing it all in a bit now. So just going to sit here and then bring your wrists, point them towards each other, either side of the knee. Just straighten out those elbows, looking straight ahead. We're just going to be here. Again, you can close your eyes. If you can't get over to do the wrist stretch, just sit up, just pop them on either side of your leg. All we're doing is basically stretching the wrists. So you could even just do it like taking a prayer pose. So you're getting them there. By leaning over, we're getting more of a stretch around the outside of the thigh. Remember to keep the ears away from the shoulders. Well, yeah, I suppose. It's easier to move the shoulders from the ears. Just breathe. Just about another 30 seconds here. Okay, lift up. And all we're going to do is take a slight twist to the right. So anchor yourself with your right elbow and just twist the left arm behind you. And just look towards the left shoulder. Now you may not be able to get too far around, that's okay, even if you're at the side and just looking over, even if your arm's here or you're pulling yourself a little bit using this arm, it's okay, however much you can get, because it's quite a strong pose. Try and stay tall through your back. And just relax back to centre with the arms. We're just going to go the opposite way. Stretch both sides. Okay, come back to centre with the arms. Just going to exhale over. You don't have to go that far, even if you're just, again, back here, or if you're here, just try and drop the head down. Give you a stronger, slightly stronger stretch through the lower back. Now, if it is pinching or pulling on any of the sciatic nerves, just come back up. And if you need to come out of it, because obviously the legs have been here for a while, if you need to come out of it, then just take your legs out. You're going to go to the other side in about 15 seconds. Okay, inhale up. Exhale, stretch those legs. Oh, stretch them out in front of you. Oh, just lean over. Okay, I'm going to go the other way now. Right leg underneath. Left leg over the top. You might need to lift up, centre your knees, and sit back down. Remember those adaptations. Now, for me, this side is not as stretchy, so I could potentially put something in between my legs here if I needed to. I'm finding that it doesn't seem to be sitting as well as it felt like it sat on the other side. Okay, gonna lean forward. Take that wrist stretch. Making sure the shoulders stay dropped down. Your back stays nice and tall. So when we say a tall back, we basically mean trying to keep your spine or your back straight, so you're not arched over and your shoulders aren't coming up. You kind of tall through it. So imagine like you've got a stick through your back. And you're just using that stick for the balance. Remember the adaptations that you can use if you need to. Okay, we're going to take a twist to the left-hand side. So inhale, bring the arm over. Twist around. Remember your adaptations, so wherever you need to be in order for the pose to work for you, and that's where you should be. Okay, come back to the middle. I'm just going to go the other way with the arms. Again, keeping those shoulders down, try and keep your back nice and tall. back to centre. And again, we're just going to lean over. Do you know, when I go to yoga classes, it always feels like one side. I mean, I know we spoke about one side being tighter than the other, but it always feels like one side works better. For me, generally, I have a little bit more movement on the right than I seem to do on the left. But also, I always feel like I'm in a pose longer on one side than the other. And I don't know if it's actually true, because I certainly try and keep an eye on the time. I'm not saying I always get it 100% right, but I'm sure the other teachers do as well. But it just feels like I'm always in one side more. I don't know if that's because you're talking and explaining the pose when you're doing the first side. Okay, coming back up to centre. And then exhale, stretch those legs out. Oh, stretch them in front of you. Just lean over slightly. Okay, now we're going to try a dragonfly. Again, this is another one where you can put a cushion or a block underneath your buttocks, and actually you'll probably get more rotation through your hip if you do that. So, if you spread your legs out, no, I can't get my legs very far. You can use straps to hold on to if you wish, but we're going to pop our legs out and then we're just going to rotate forward. Now, if you're really flexible along your inner leg, the purpose is you roll over, you come down onto your elbows. Now, I'm not that flexible yet on my inner legs, so I'm just going to pull towards my feet and try and bend my elbows. Not even grab the toes. Now, if this is too strong, bend those knees a little bit, but keep your toes engaged. Keep your feet up. You can put something underneath the knees to help support you. And like I said, if I get my block, you'll probably see the difference even in my movement. You pop it underneath your buttocks, bring your legs out, and then lean forward. As you can see, you get a bit more flexibility. Still very strong down the inside of the legs, especially the thigh into the knees. Excuse me, but you get more movement in the hips. So I'm actually going to just leave that block there. So as you breathe out, again, this is another one where as you breathe out, you try and extend into that stretch even more. You can breathe in and try and move your leg a little bit. Breathe out again. But don't overextend. Don't do it so that it hurts too much. And if it starts to pull or stretch here, then just bend those knees. Just come into it like this. Just going to be here for about another 30 seconds. So there is a pose that I'd love to be able to do properly. I'll put a picture on the page, the Facebook page, so you can see how people who are more flexible across the inner thigh, they get their legs out and they can get all the way over how it looks. You just, I suppose, have to realise in yoga that you're not going to be able to do everything, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, come back up. Bend those knees. Bring those feet together. Oh, that feels nice. Now, if you're sitting on a block, it's fine. Stay on the block. If you're not on the block, it's fine. You don't have to be on the block. If you need a bit of support underneath the knees, again, either your blocks or blankets, cushions, whatever you need, and then just cup the underneath of your feet, and then just open up the big toes with your thumbs. Drop your elbows into kind of the crease where your knees are, and then straight through, nice and tall through your spine. So you're kind of pushing down with your arms almost. You're holding your big toes open. Trying to keep that back nice and tall. Now this is one where you'll just find your own kind of space. Your legs might be up here, you might just be leaning in slightly, and that's okay. Again, you know, yoga is very, it's very personal. And like I was just saying, not everybody is super flexible. Not everybody is super flexible in every way. You'll find a lot of yoga teachers who can do many poses, but there'll just be one thing that they just, for whatever reason, really struggle to get into. Some struggle to get into lots of other poses. And I suppose when you're in a class, it's difficult, because as long as you know how to adapt your students, then you're doing the right thing, you're helping them. But when you're doing it online, it's a little bit more difficult because you can't accurately show the pose. So I know that sometimes when I'm saying, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then I can't get into the pose properly because I'm still on my journey, it might make it a little bit difficult for you guys to visualize where it should be. So, you know, if you ever think of a pose and you think, God, I don't know if she did that properly, or I'm not sure if she got into that pose properly, or if I said to you, oh yeah, I'm not in this pose properly, I do apologize, and you want to know what it actually looks like, just drop me a line and I'll stick an image up of somebody who's you know, in the pose correctly. And it's not that you'll be able to get there straight away. You might be able to get there, but not straight away. But it's just that you can visualize what it actually looks like. Okay, release the feet. Come back up. Oh. Bring your knees together. Okay, now, if you're on a block, we're going to move it. Come down here. And we're going to go into a happy baby. So we're going to roll onto our back. I'm going to turn around onto my side so you can see it. Roll onto our back. Lift one leg up and grab the inside. The other leg and grab the inside. And this is where we are. And you can rock side to side if you wish. We're just going to breathe here. Now, if you can't get a hold of your feet, or you can't get your legs as high, just have them down, or bring your knees up and just hold on to your knees wherever you can get them. So if you're here, you know, that's fine. If not, the other thing you can do, if you can't get your legs up, is with your feet on the floor, walk your feet out and then drop your knees in. Now you get a different kind of stretch. It's called a broken bridge. You get a different kind of stretch across the groin, and just pop your arms out to the side. so that you're getting a stretch across the chest and shoulders. But this is another position that you can go into if you can't do happy baby. Just whilst we're just going to be here for another minute or so. But if you are in happy baby, then be happy. If you rock side to side, it's also meant to be good for the kidneys, because you effectively give them a little massage as you're rocking side to side. Now try and keep your feet pointing up towards the ceiling, so we don't want them coming in. So we're not like this. You know, our legs are still engaged, our feet are pointing upwards, our arms are stretched, shoulders are away from the ears. Okay, we're going to relax down. And we're going to grab all of our bits and pieces for Shavasana. So hopefully you've got them to hand so that you don't have to get up. Can't reach. Now, there were a few other poses that we could have done tonight, but conscious of the time. And as you can all probably hear, there's no dog, so I made my daughter take Willow out so we could do this session. Okay, so just relax. Hands by your side. I've done a lot of work through the hips, so you might want to put something underneath you to support you, or even, I've actually got it this time. So this is a weighted kind of pillow. Well, actually, this one's not a proper yoga one. The yoga bean bags look like this. They're called yoga pillows, and you can use them across your eyes when you're in Shavasana, or you can use them across, an area just to add a little bit of weight, a bit of pressure. But this one is actually one of those, the lavender scented pillows. And the scent will wear out, and the pillow will be just as good. But it was about £10 cheaper. So I'm all for a bargain. Okay, so that's across my hip just to give me a bit of weight. Now I know you guys have got yourself all comfortable while I've been waffling. And you're just breathing nicely. Okay, what I'd like you to do is take a nice deep breath in and fill up your abdomen. So we're really pushing that abdomen up. And then breathe out. And really dropping that navel down towards the spine. Going to breathe in and fill the abdomen again. This time we're going to hold it. And I'm going to breathe out, navel all the way down to the spine. Just do that another 4 times. Deep breath in, filling the abdomen. Hold that there. And then deep breath out. Really feel like your stomach's trying to go through your back. Deep breath in. Hold. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Last one. I'd like you to imagine that you are laying on a rowboat in a lake not far from shore. Now there's gentle waves which are gently rocking the boat. And as the boat lifts and drops with the waves, you use that motion to scan your body. So this is quite a quick scan, from top to bottom, or bottom to top, whichever way your waves are going, whichever way you're laying in the boat. If you notice through these scans any areas that feel tender, or if the tension, or a bit too hot, a bit too cold, a bit too achy, just store the place in your mind for now and just continue to scan with the rise and fall of the boat. You realise that the water is settling till the lake is calm. The boat is just sitting. You can feel the sun shining. You can imagine the beautiful blue sky. And with the heat from the sun shining down on you, direct that heat to any area of your body that you feel needs a little bit extra. So although you can feel that heat everywhere, you're keenly aware of it on the areas that you have registered need that extra support. Our breathing is normal. Our jaw is loose. Our neck is loose. Everything is relaxed. We're just feeling that heat. Okay, slowly become aware of your body, feeling the mat underneath you, and the floor underneath the mat. Just wiggle those toes and wiggle your fingers. Just do a few rotations. Come slowly up into a seated. And then just lean over. Come up into a tall seated position. Palms together, hands in front of the heart centre. Pop a smile on your face. Slowly blink those eyes open. From my heart to yours. Namaste. So hopefully you enjoyed the practice. There was a few poses that we didn't do tonight that we could have done, but obviously, like I said, I was very aware of the time. So we will get to those another day, I'm sure. Anyway, I love you all lots, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.